check out this secret blueprint here. How cool is this? So you can only get this by doing a secret challenge in Warzone. I'm going to show you how to do it in this video, as well as a few tips and tricks on how to get better in the game, because it's quite different to Warzone 1. And I'm going to show you a real match too, where we end up winning rather than splicing lots of clips together. And a big thanks to Call of Duty for sponsoring this one. Now, I've played around 10 matches of regular Battle Royale. Out of those 10, I've won 2. Now, most of my time, to be honest, has been spent playing DMZ, which is a great way to learn the map, by the way, but we're not talking about DMZ today. We're talking about Battle Royale. We're getting serious. And so far, I've started to build up a bit of knowledge about the game mode, some tactics, and I'm going to share that with you now. First things first, loadouts. Not many people are going to have loadouts in Warzone yet, and they haven't figured out how to do it, but that should be your priority as soon as you drop into the game. Get an AR, get an SMG maybe, and try and find yourself a 3-plate armor vest as soon as possible. That's the purple one. If you get that, it means that you can't be one-hit killed by a sniper rifle. It's one of the most overpowered items in the game. Now, loot in Warzone 2 isn't as random, which means that you'll often find certain types of loot in predictable places. If you want to get self-revives or stims or the revive pistol, check the bathrooms and check the cabinets, because that's where that kind of stuff tends to spawn. And don't forget that you can stow items in your backpack too, so you can have multiple self-revives, you can have multiple plates, and that kind of stuff is going to come in clutch, especially in the end game. So figure out what you like, prioritize the loot, stow the important stuff, and then focus on early game fights, wait for the strongholds to appear, and we'll move on to that next. So after that fight that we got into there, you wait a couple minutes and then the strongholds will appear. Comes up this giant notification, strongholds open. So immediately open your map, find the nearest one, mark it, and then you're going to head over there as quick as possible. Now, this is definitely a lot more difficult if you're trying to do it in a solo match, but duo, trio, and quads, which I think most people play, it's pretty simple to do. And the reason that you do the stronghold as soon as possible is because you get your loadout, the potential for 2 weapons, and you get your perks as well. There's no other way to get perks in Warzone. Will there be in the future? Maybe, but this is the only way for now. So get to the stronghold, kill all the enemies, defuse the bomb, and a loadout box will spawn. You can access it, get your loadout. This was actually about 4 minutes and 30 seconds after landing that we got this. So huge advantage against most of the squads in the game. And if you're first to do a stronghold, you'll get that there, which is the black site key. Make sure to pick that up, because if you want the hidden blueprint that I showed you at the start of the video, we're going to need that. But also just doing a black site in general is a good idea, because you get a ton of money and you get a lot of other good stuff, which we'll take a look at next. So open your map and you'll see a new icon has appeared. It's a castle with a keyhole in the middle. That's the black site. But bear in mind that anytime you're doing a stronghold or a black site, it will change to red, and that means that other players can see that you're doing it. So just be on your guard a bit. In regards to other players, proximity chat is actually really useful for hearing when someone's nearby. I reckon a lot of PC players will just turn this off, but console players, I think, are going to leave it on. It's on by default as far as I know. And if people are communicating with each other on voice comms using their microphones, you will hear when they're nearby in buildings. So it can be useful for letting you know that there's an enemy squad nearby. But at the same time, it can be quite detrimental because their microphone might be terrible and you can hear their nan screaming in the background. So perhaps have a hotkey ready to mute it so you can actually hear the footsteps when you're about to fight. So we made it to the black site now. We're going to open that up with the black site key and head on in there. Be a bit cautious here because the enemies in here, the bots, are a bit tougher than in the stronghold. They all have armor on. Use your stuns, use your semtexes. Kill them. Eventually you'll find the juggernaut, the big lad. In this circumstance, I was quite lucky and he just started running away from me on the stairs. So just keep loading him full of lead. Eventually he's going to go down, and whoever gets the last shot on him will kill him and actually unlock that secret blueprint at the start, the Phantom's Call. There it is there for the Vaznes 9K. It's the only way to get it. And you may have also noticed all that stuff that dropped out of the Juggernaut. We had durable gas masks, large backpack, a load of kill streaks. Stow that, it's going to be useful. And of course, doing the black site, you get another chance to get your loadout. So if you want to swap guns or change perks, you can do that now. Don't forget that you can buy your custom guns at the basic shops too. And if you want to get a load of money quick to be able to afford one of those guns, do the Safecracker contracts. They're very similar to what the scavs were like in Warzone 1. But I prefer to go for the strongholds. I tend to be a bit more consistent and successful that way. In terms of general combat and fighting strategy in this game, as I mentioned in one of the first MW2 videos that I made when the game launched, just slow things down a bit, be more methodical. When you're in a fight especially, don't tactical sprint everywhere. Instead, go around a corner with your gun ready, or just at a walking pace so you're ready to ADS and shoot as quick as possible. And hold your angles for a bit longer too. Most fights in this game, I found that if you're aiming first and the enemy hasn't noticed you, you're going to kill them before they can turn around and kill you. Of course, there are some fringe examples where they might just have an SMG in close range and they out TTK you, but just think about things a bit more. The pace is a lot slower in Warzone 2. It's kind of a mix between PUBG and Warzone 1 in my opinion. Use your brain a bit before you just jump in and try and get kills. Something you can do in teams matches is if there's a down player and you have an opportunity, you can interrogate them, hold U's on them. And if they have any teammates that are alive, it will spot them for a matter of seconds. And it's like a full wall hack spot kind of thing. So really useful if you get the chance. And don't forget to finish them off afterwards or let them go if you're feeling nice. I wasn't really feeling that nice. There's a few technical things that you can change with the game too to give yourself an advantage, like for example your FOV. PC players and now console players, I think on any console, can change the field of view in the options all the way up to 120. But bear in mind that if you're on console, especially one of the older consoles, that might actually have a negative impact on your frame rate. I don't know if anyone's done any testing on that yet, but it'd be interesting to see. Also change the ADS field of view to affected, and that's going to give you less visual recall on the screen. And then make sure that you disable both motion blur settings and the depth of field effect. I don't know if you noticed these firefights that we've been into. In this game, you can really take advantage of when you've damaged an enemy enough to break their plates. Because plating in this game takes a lot longer. You can't sprint and plate at the same time. So if you feel like you've broken someone, maybe they're the last in the squad and you feel like you can push, don't be afraid to attack them and finish them off before they have a chance to heal. Because that window of opportunity here is a bit wider than it was in Warzone 1. In terms of what guns to use, there's a lot of good choices. I've been favouring the M4, the TAC-56 and the MCPR sniper rifle. SMGs, I found the Miniback and the MP5 to be quite strong. Perk packages, I just take the one with Ghost. You're not going to be on UAVs unless you fire, and then there's a sweep, so keep that in mind. Still really good for flanking in Warzone. And we're coming to the end of the game here. A lot of the games tend to just end around here, like center of the map. I feel like maybe there's something wrong with the circle splits, but there's not much hard cover here, and if you find yourself in a similar situation to this, not all hope is lost because you can use natural cover. So we know there's a squad on the left. We know there's one down the valley, but just moving to the road down there, that's given us a little dip and we can use that to hide, wait for the next zone and then push in. Positioning is super duper important in this game, especially because of how the map is designed. You want to always go for the high ground if you can. Don't get stuck in the low ground like that guy. Don't really run out in the open unless you absolutely have to. And if you do have to, tactical sprint, use bushes as cover, use rocks. And here you see some of the effects of me storing some of those things that we picked up at the strongholds and the black sites, using the kill streaks, using the recon drone. The bomb drone is super OP in this game. I think it's going to get nerfed because you can barely hear it, but that's very good. Use it wisely. You can also tell the recon drone to just hover in the air and spot things, and people haven't really figured that out yet. Of course, if you can get something up in the air from cover, you can spot people. You can just let it hover and it does it automatically. And of course, when it comes to those last few kills, don't take 1v1s unless you absolutely have to. Work with your team, close in, get the victory. And that's about all I got for you guys. The meta, the tactics, the gameplay will change over time as the game evolves, as the community shares tips and tricks with each other. But hopefully you found this video helpful or insightful in some way. Let me know in the comments below. Do consider leaving a like and subscribing if you're new. Big thanks to Geeky as well for showing me how to get that blueprint. I'll link his channel below if you want to go check him out for yourself. Right, I'm off. Sub if you're new. I'll see you next time. Bye.